Amid the never-sleeping hustle and bustle of Jakarta, there stood an old 15-story building that was once a prestigious office space in the 1980s. Now, it looked run down, its paint peeling, window panes covered in dust, and some windows boarded up with rotting wood. Rumor had it the building was haunted. Its name was Manarajaya Building. It had been unused for nearly a decade, yet strangely, a night guard still worked there. Locals often heard strange sounds at night, creaking doors, echoing footsteps in empty hallways, and most often a faint crying from the long-dead elevator. Rapih, a final-year architecture student, received a thesis assignment that required him to study old buildings in Jakarta. He chose Manarajaya. Despite the scary stories, his curiosity outweighed his fear. He visited the building during the day. The night guard, who was napping in the guard post, raised an eyebrow when Rapih asked for permission to take photos and notes. Researching history, sure, but don't try to use the elevator. It's been dead since 2009. Rapih nodded and began exploring the damp, musty building. Dust covered the floors and cobwebs clung to every corner. He took note of architectural details, concrete pillars, interior design, and emergency stair placement. But when he reached the elevator, he froze. The elevator doors were shut tight, but something made the hairs on the back of his neck stand. He felt like someone was watching him from inside. He pressed his ear to the old metal door, and he heard faint crying, a woman's cry. Rapih stepped back quickly, but his logic dismissed the fear. Maybe it was an outside sound, he thought. But as he approached again, the crying stopped. Suddenly, a soft ding sounded, as if the elevator had just arrived on his floor. But that was impossible. The elevator was dead. Rapih returned to the guard post. The night guard, Pak Arman, was now awake and lighting a cigarette. His face was lined with age, and his sharp eyes observed Rapih closely. "You heard it, didn't you?" Rapih nodded slowly. Who was that voice? Sir Arman exhaled smoke and sat in his worn-out chair. "You're not the first to hear it. Even the guard before me, Sir Yoko, claimed he once saw the elevator door open by itself, and it was dead." "Who was crying, sir?" Sir Arman stared at the ceiling, as if recalling something long buried. "Long ago, a young woman working late took the elevator alone. That night, there was a technical malfunction. The elevator fell from the 14th floor. But strangely, her body was never found, just blood stains on the ground floor." Rapih was speechless. Since then, people say she's still trapped inside. Her cries still echo like she's begging for help. But the door can never be opened. A technician once tried to dismantle it, but always failed. The equipment broke, or suddenly the elevator disappeared. Disappeared. Yes, sometimes it's there. Sometimes not, like it moves on its own. Despite the chills, Rapih found the story too valuable to ignore. This could be the main topic of his thesis. He decided to return at night, bringing a camera, audio recorder, and his friend Dina. Dina was a psychology student fascinated by the paranormal. They agreed to investigate the building further, especially the dead elevator. That night, they returned. It was 11 p.m. when Rapih and Dina arrived back at Manarajaya. The atmosphere was far more eerie than during the day. Night winds crept in through broken window panes. The corridor lights flickered dimly. Sir Armin gave them a brief glance before locking himself inside the guard post. "If you hear anything, don't follow it," he said shortly. Rapih and Dina walked slowly toward the 7th floor where the elevator stood. They carried cameras, flashlights, and a sensitive audio recorder. When they reached the elevator, they stopped. The door looked the same, rusty and cold. Without warning, they heard the faint cry again. But this time it was clearer. It sounded like it came right from behind the elevator door. Dina quickly turned on the recorder while Rapih filmed with the camera. "Help, I'm still here," came a soft, female whisper. Dina stiffened. "Did you hear that, Rapih?" Rapih could only nod. He tried to stay calm, but his hands trembled. Suddenly, their flashlights flickered, then died. The elevator made a ding sound, and the door slowly opened despite no electricity. Inside the elevator was only darkness, but footsteps echoed from within. A long-haired woman stepped to the doorway. Her face was pale, her eyes blank, blood dripped from her forehead. "Why did you come? Why did you wake me?" Before Rapih and Dina could move, the elevator door slammed shut with a loud clang. Rapih and Dina collapsed to the floor, their breaths ragged. The elevator should not have worked, but they had seen the floor indicator light up, 789. They rushed to the emergency stairs, but every door they opened led to the same hallway, dark and filled with the sound of weeping. "I think we're not in the same place anymore," Dina whispered. Rapih tried calling for help, but there was no signal. Their cameras only showed black screens, and the recorder emitted static mixed with whispering voices. In one hallway, they found a room not shown on the building plan. Inside was an old table and dozens of photos. Each showed the elevator in different states. One photo had a woman the same one they had seen earlier. The name below the photo read, Amelia, 2009. Behind the photo, a note read, "Open the door without a handle. It's the only way out." They searched every hallway for a door without a handle. Finally, on the 13th floor, which had been sealed off for repairs, they found it. A tall metal door with only a slit in the middle. Dina touched it, and suddenly it opened on its own, sucking them into a vortex of red light. They awoke inside the same elevator room, but the atmosphere had changed. The walls were covered in handprints, crying echoed endlessly, and in the center Amelia stood with her back turned. "I don't want to be alone anymore," she said, then turned, her eyes bled. "Help me or you'll take my place." Rapih screamed, trying to pull Dina back, but the floor collapsed, and Dina was dragged into the darkness. Rapih woke up alone outside the building, in daylight. No sign of Dina, no open elevator, the camera and recorder were destroyed. He returned to the building many times, but Dina was never found. Even Sir Armin claimed he never saw them that night. The police couldn't help, the building was sealed permanently. But every night, at the same hour, Rapih came and pressed his ear against the elevator door. And he still heard the crying. But now there were two voices. One belonged to Amelia, and the other to Dina. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share and follow other horror stories.